Right back. Welcome back to another play action football video. My name is Brian Hafferkamp. I'm the designer and creator of this game. And I will be showing off in this one the fictional team generation and career mode for the upcoming release of Play Action Football Express, which I worked on with Jason Graham from the @Jason Flash Football channel. If you're not subscribed to him or you don't know anything about the channel, go over @Jason Flash Football here on YouTube and check it out. He's got lots of different types of tabletop football games. He's been doing a boxing league where you have like groups of fighters at different weight classes. So it's a pretty cool project. Actually, I really enjoy the fight card boxing, which is a new boxing game from Powder Blue Sports. It's actually quite entertaining to watch, and feels like you're really engaged in the boxing match. So if you're looking or interested in boxing, he's doing quite a bit of that there. I wanted to show off just how the team generation and career module works. You're going to get this sheet here, which Play Action Express fictional team and generation career module. You have the team creation chart here, which is super easy, just 2d6s combined. So for a 2 to 12 roll, the offseason will make changes to these team offense and defense numbers. They correspond with what you see on the actual NFL cards. So you're rolling for this number on offense and this number on defense. We also have an option for a coach down here, so you can choose the style. That's going to dictate your rushing and passing, and then your base defense. So it will be a 3-4 or 4-3. And then finally, the third part is you'll roll for a place kicker. So extra points are on the left, field goals are on the right, and you're sort of at the mercy of whoever your place kicker is for that season. So you can see there's a 90-70, he's not a great kicker. 185, that's an excellent kicker. 85 on the field goals means you'd have to roll a 1 or a 2 to miss. So excellent field goal kicking there. And so you can see there's a mixture of players. This guy is good at extra points, average here, decent at extra points, just a step above here. So lots of different options here for the different kinds of kickers. We'll fill that in down at the bottom. So you can see that these created some blanks, basically using the same template. So you can see that there. And I essentially just erased all the information and the data off of this one and then giving you a blank that you can use to fill out your own team. So I've created the Chicagoland Football League, and we'll have a 2025 season that we need to roll up teams for. So it's the Tinley Park Titans, the Blue Island Dolphins, the Crystal Lake Chargers, the Waukegan Falcons, the St. Charles Saints. I thought that one was easy. And the Hinsdale Lions. So we got our teams all set to go. This is the NFL has collapsed, and every city has started to create their own teams. And because the fans still want football, but they've lost their Bears in Chicago, so they've spread out their professional football players, and they've created their own Chicagoland Football League. And so 2025 will be their inaugural season. So we're just going to go through all of these, and I'll just show you how the team creation part works. So that's going to be this first section here. So essentially, we roll 2d12s. We check for the offense. What is the offense number? And then we do it again. What is the defense number? So for the Tinley Park Titans, their offense is a 10. The roll is 10. The offense is going to be a 1. So we just fill that in. Their defense is going to be a -1. So, and then their coaching style will be balanced. So we'll say 50-50 here. And then their base defense is going to be a 4-3, tough against the run. And for their kicking, we have a 6, so 100 and a 75. So 100, so they won't miss too many extra points, and their kicking overall is going to be a 75. So that's Tinley Park. Blue Island, 4 is going to be a +1 for them on offense. Their defense is a -1. We'll roll both of these and look at the black for coaching style, white for base. So 4 balanced, 50-50. And their base is going to be a 3-4. And finally, their kicking is 95-85. All right. Crystal Lake, they have an 11. They're going to be a +2 offense and a -1. So they're looking tough out of the gate. 6 is going to be pass heavy. So we're going to say 60-40. And their base defense will be a 3-4. So feeling a little bit like the actual Chargers. So, and then 175. 100 on the extra points. 75 on the kicking. For the Waukegan Falcons, they are going to be a +1. And a 6 is a 0 on defense. Their coaching, they'll be run heavy. So 60-40 rushing. And I didn't do their base. Their base is going to be a 3-4. And finally, their kicking is 100 and an 80. 100 for extra points, 80 on field goals. So that means they'll make a field goal anywhere from 4 to 12. So St. Charles Saints, a 7 is a 0 in offense. And a 9 is a -1 on defense. So defensive-minded team. They are going to have a balanced offense. It's really balanced play calling is what we're talking about. And 3-4 is the defense. For kicking, 95 on extra points, just 75 for the field goal kicking. So they're not one of our better teams in the league. And then finally, Hinsdale, they're going to be a +1 on offense and a 0 on defense. 1 is run heavy, so 60-40 rushing against passing, and a 3-4. And 5 will be 95 on extra points, 85 on the field goals. So we have our cards here. You can see them all. Everything is filled out, and essentially you just cut along these lines here, and you'll have all the cards. They're going to look just like this. So you can see they're the same size. They're going to come out just like these cards. You can put them on cardstock, and you'll actually have your cards. So I will give you the PDF of this. So if you actually wanted to go in and do it a little bit more professionally and just type in, so you maybe use this as a template for figuring everything out, but then you go in and you actually use a copy of that PDF to fill this in. You can do that with most PDF editors. If you don't have a good PDF program, I encourage you to check out a website called ilovepdf.com. ilovepdf.com. It's my favorite website on the internet, and it allows me to do a bunch of stuff with all of my games. So I can create different pieces, and I can put all those pieces together in a single file, so that you just go through the file and you print, and it prints everything all together. So I love PDF, and there's an edit version as well that allows you to upload a PDF file and edit it. I don't feel bad about you uploading a file to that website. They purge everything, or at least they say they do. They purge everything every night. So it's not keeping my proprietary information or anything there. So I love pdf.com, and then you can go in and you can actually fill out. You can type in the names here. You could probably do a color block on there if you wanted to. So there's lots of different things that you could do if you wanted to create a little bit more professional version of this, but this would be the bare bones. You just fill in all the information, and then you could literally cut these out and play an entire season with them. And so when you get to the off season, let's say we've completed our season, and let's say Tinley Park went 6-4. Everybody plays 10 games, and Blue Island goes 5-5, and Crystal Lake goes 8-2. Waukegan 4-6, St. Charles 5-5, and Hinsdale bringing up the rear at 2-8. Okay, so we have our records here that I've just filled in. You can see that very well, but I just filled in the records there. And you obviously would need to keep track of things on a notebook or another sheet of paper or something. So then we come to our off-season chart here. So a team with a winning record has to roll from the off-season chart. Now, the reason that's important is because you can actually have negatives here. So you can lose 2 on offense or defense, lose 1 on offense, lose 1 on defense, lose 2 on offense. So you can actually have negative changes to your offense and defense. And this could be the narrative that you create. So whatever it is, right? They have 2 guys with career-ending injuries, or it could be whatever, and so you lose 1 on offense, you lose 1 on defense, or whatever it is. You can also gain on offense and defense. So there are some positives here, and maybe they drafted well, or maybe they've had some good growth from key players, position players. The notes over here are to let you know that you can only go, like for defense, you can't go below -3. You can't have a defense. -2 would actually be good for your team. +2 would be bad for your defense, but offense -2 would be bad, and offense +2. Because for the offense, you can go 0 to +3. Defense is 0 to -3, -3 being the best defense, like historically great, like the Chicago Bears. So you can only go to -3 max. So let's say nobody has a -2, but if someone had a -2 and then they rolled this 2 and then they went to -4, technically they could only go to -3 because -3 is the lowest you can do. So you get a +3 max on offense, a -3 max on defense. For offense going down, a 0 is a minimum, and for a defense going up, like if you had a defense of 0, let's say these guys had a defense of 0 and they rolled a 10, defense +1, they can't go to a +1 because there is no +1. So 0 is the minimum on those. I guess you could say max, min, however you want to think about it. And then a team with a losing record is allowed 1 free reroll on the off-season chart, but then after that they have to buy rerolls. So everybody's going to roll once off this, whether they have a winning record or losing record. If you have a losing record like Hinsdale or Waukegan, then you get 1 free reroll. So they'll actually get 2 cracks at this if they want. If they want to continue and just keep their initial roll, that's fine. I'm sorry, it's not off this one, but this one. Because there's a chance that if you roll again, you would lose whatever. So if they wind up getting +2 on offense, maybe they don't want to re-roll again because they want to keep that. Because if you re-roll, it's going to wipe out whatever happened on the first roll. And every re-roll after that has a potential to wipe out whatever you've done. So you could have +2 on offense, and then you re-roll, and then you have -2 on offense, which would simply wipe out all of the gains that you had. So you got to kind of think through those. Teams can buy re-rolls, they can hire coaches, and they can sign place kickers during the offseason only. We have offseason purchases down here. Teams earn 1 credit per win. So Tinley Park with 6, Blue Island with 5, Crystal Lake with 8, etc. And then you can use these credits on the off-season chart. It costs you 4 credits for a reroll. It costs you 3 credits to get a new coach. So maybe you want to hire a different coach and try to get a different play style and defense. And then it'll cost you 2 credits if you want to try to sign a new place kicker. So let's say Crystal Lake was 8-2. Let's see, somebody here. Let's say 5-5. So St. Charles is 5-5. Well, let's just go ahead and do the new off season. So the off season for Tinley Park is an 8. 8 says roll again. 7 is no change. So they're going to remain 1-1. And an 8 is a roll again for Blue Island. A 5 means offense plus 1. So they become, instead of a 1, they become a 2. So they're now a +2 on offense, -1 on defense. For Crystal Lake, 9 is going to be defense -1. So they become a 0. In 11 to Waukegan, 11 is defense +2. So they can only go to 0. So there's no change there. Remember, defense +2 is bad, and they can only go up to a 0. They're already a 0. A 6 for St. Charles. 6 is roll again. And a 10 is defense +1. So St. Charles goes to a 0-0 team. Wow. Youch. So they get worse in the offense or in the off season. And then Hinsdale with no change. They remain 1 and on offense and 0 on defense. So we had a couple of changes here. So Blue Island picks up +1 on offense. There are 2 and -1. Crystal Lake drops a little bit on their defense, 2 and 0. Waukegan, same. St. Charles goes from a 0 on offense and a -1 on defense to a 0-0. So maybe they sustained some injuries or had some players leave. They just didn't want to deal. St. Charles isn't beautiful enough for them to stay out there. And so some defensive players migrated and went somewhere else. So the teams would be all set. And then if you wanted to do any re-rolls, so let's say Crystal Lake, they want to spend 4 of their 8 credits on a re-roll. So let's see what they can get. A 5 for them is offense +1, so they go to a 3. So they go from a 2 -1 to a 3 and a 0 on defense. They would be happy with their squad. Let's see, St. Charles has 5. They're going to spend 4 of those credits on a re-roll. 7 is no change, so they're just stuck, and that's pretty rough. For Waukegan, they're going to try to get better. They didn't do anything well. They're going to take their 4 credits and re-roll. A 9 is going to be defense -1, so they actually change a little bit. So they're now 1 -1, and which separates them from these bottom 3 teams. The Hinsdale Lions can't do anything except roll for a better kicker. And there's a 185 out there. There's no need really for them to roll for a better kicker. So they're kind of in a place that they only have 2 wins, so they only have 2 credits. That's the best thing that they can do. So you can see teams get a little bit stuck, and they're just going to have to win their way to a better day. Tinley Park. Tinley Park should roll. They get 4 credits. A 4 is offense -1. So they're going to go to a 0 on offense. So you can see that not every re-roll is going to help you. They were better off not re-rolling. So they have a 0 and a -1. At least they can play defense. And Blue Island, they're going to try to get better somewhere. They have 4 credits. Let's just re-roll for them. So a 9 to them is defense -1. So they go from a 2 -1 to a 2 -2, and they become one of the new favorites as these two here. So a 2 minus 2, a 3, and a 0, and that would be a pretty epic game. You have a balanced offense against the passing attack of the Chargers, and both run a 3-4. And both with the Chargers not as good a field goal kicker, but probably in the end it would come out a wash. These guys, the Chargers, can never miss a field goal or an extra point. So I think Jason has it so that you can, if you roll a 1, no, I don't think he does that. If you miss the extra point, then you have to roll again and miss it again to confirm. But on a roll of 100, they basically just never miss an extra point. So that is how the off season goes. And then you would go into a new season, print up a new sheet if you wanted to, or print up new cards and cut them out. These come 9 to a sheet, so you can have as large or as small league as you wanted to. I just chose 6, a nice even number. And then Tinley Park now for 2026 would be a 0 offense with a -1 defense. They're still balanced, and they kept their kicker. Blue Island is a 2-2 with 3-4 defense. They're a balanced team. Crystal Lake, 3 on offense and 0 on defense, so they've improved them on offense and gotten worse on defense. They're going to stick with their 60-40 passing attack. That got them to 8 wins and a championship. We'll call it a championship that season. Waukegan goes from a 1 and a 0 to a 1 and a -1, so their reroll pays off. They get a little bit better on defense as they have a 60-40 split. They're a rushing heavy team. St. Charles gets worse. They go from a 0-1 to a 0-0. Their balanced attack and their base defense, they're probably going to wind up a little bit more in the 2-8 territory. And Hinsdale doesn't improve or decline at all. They sort of stay put and find themselves moving up the ladder just a little bit. So they're 1 on offense, 0 on defense, and a 60-40 rushing attack on offense. So rushing heavy team. All right, and then for these, you would just use the blue cards here for the rushing heavy teams. So if you want to indicate this is rushing heavy, but basically 50-50, you're going to use the black cards, which look like this. You can see they have black. And then the pass heavy teams, which we only have 1, is going to be red like this. So they have the red text. And then essentially you would play just like we have been playing. If a team wanted to hire a coach in the off season, basically you would re-roll on this chart here so that you would have the style and you would have the base defense, and that would be your coach, sort of your coaching staff. So he brings his defense and he brings his play calling style into the mix. And then if you wanted to roll for a place kicker, you roll the D6 and then assign the new place kicker. You might wind up getting a worse place kicker, so there's that part too. And the defense, really, the base defense only comes in if you want to use the defensive formation modifiers. So these modifiers happen on particular situations. So normal situations, you roll a D6 and you get these defensive modifiers. Short yardage, 3 yards or less for a first down. Long yardage is 11 yards or more, just like you see on the play action football charts, the play calling charts. Goal line is inside the defense's 6-yard line. And then on the last possession, the defensive team ahead, you can run a prevent defense. You could change that up a little bit. Maybe we will. Maybe part of it will be prevent, part of it will be nickel, part of it will be dime. But we have that to be able to run. And then you simply play out with your fictional universe, and you can create players if you want to for these teams and just write out, just create rosters for them all. You could do a draft league where you create a bunch of players, and then you have buddies, and you just draft players onto your team. And this would just be kind of a high level creating teams and using them much like we use the team cards here. These are actual NFL teams, but basically you're recreating this kind of universe in whatever way you want to. So that is the team creation and the team generation and career module. And basically, you can just continue to play season after season after season, watching these teams change over time. Jason uses this for his Patriot Football League, and the Patriot Football League has been going for what was it, 20 something seasons, almost 30 seasons. So I think over 5 or 6 years of actual time, they've played out almost 30 seasons, and he uses the same format. He just takes you can see what he did in one of his most recent videos. He gets he has different people who own different teams. He gets their input as to what they want to do. Do they want to hire a new coach or a new kicker or whatever? And then they tell him, I want to spend this many credits and do this, whatever they're doing. And then he does it. He rolls it out. He creates the teams. He likes to use index cards because then you can just put the players on there as well. So feel free to do something like that where you have a bigger card. These are just going to be included for your own purposes. If you want to use these cards, you can. You can put them on nice card stock like this, and then you would have actual cards to play with. And then you just do that every season, recreate and put their new offense and defense numbers and whatever is on there. You can do that each season. And if you have any questions, you could break this out. If you want to break this out into an average, and so you could do 85 across the board. You could have somewhere along the way that it's a little bit less somewhere. And so you could roll 3 times and give them an average. There's lots of different ways that you could get creative with the place kicking and actually fill in all of these numbers. You could create your own chart that has field goals. So maybe you do a roll here for each of these. So you roll for each, like you have a 95 for your place kicking, and then we have an 85 for 20 to 29. We have a 70 for 30 to 39. We have 85, 75 for 40 to 49, and then for 50 yards, we have an 85. So maybe something like that, or 85 and half, or you give everybody a 50-50 chance at 50 plus, or there are no 50-yard field goals. You could make that rule too. So then you just have field goals from 40 to 49, and that would be the deepest that you could go. So you could do something like that too, where you fill in all of these blanks. So feel free to do that as you will. This is just sort of an aggregate, even career number is what Jason has talked about. It's a career number. So basically, I've just ported over everything that he gave me into a Football Express sort of chart. All right. If you have any questions or comments about the fictional team generation module, the career module, you can leave them down in the comments section. And this will be included. So these are some of the files that will be included with the Express game whenever you purchase it. I'm getting close, I believe. So almost 3 seasons I've got of the little cards like this. So this is 1985, and this will actually be one of the seasons that is available. I'll actually take these 1985 small cards. I'll put them into the files for the full-size game as well. So if you've already purchased the full-size game, you can go ahead and download those team files and cut them out. You won't be charged for that. They're just going to be a part of the full set. But if you don't have anything, then you can go and just download the Express game. Well, you'll have to pay, but pay and download the Express game. You'll get the team cards, and you'll get the deck of the fast action deck. And then if from there on you want to just purchase the full game, you'll get everything. You'll get the small cards, the big cards. You'll get all of the charts that you need to do the rolling. If in the future you just only want to purchase the Express game, you'll get all of these things with the player module, the creation module, and you'll get the deck of cards, and you'll get everything you need, plus the team cards for that particular season. So you can buy them a season at a time if you want to. The fast action decks are not going to change over time. So if you buy one season, you bought them all. The only thing that will change is if you didn't want to purchase the full game, then you would be able to get the whatever season that is. So you could just buy a season full of the individual small cards. And then obviously you wouldn't need to reprint the decks of cards because they're going to be the same regardless this season. And then if you want to purchase that fast action deck once and then just buy the full game after that, you'll have everything that's in the collective universe. Also included with this is going to be the drive-by-drive game, which you'll be able to play with the cards. That does not involve the fast action cards. That's just a different way of playing with the same results. You could play this season with all of these teams here with the fast action cards. So if the Chargers were playing Blue Island, you would take the offense 3 and you would add the defense. So 3 minus 2 is a +1. So the Chargers will have a +1 on their rolls for the drive-by-drive game. Blue Island has a 2 on offense. Chargers a 0 on defense. So they would have a +2 advantage based on the matchup. So +1, +2, and then you add that +1, +2 to the rolls for the drive-by-drive game. So as you get to higher numbers, that's better things for the offense. Lower numbers is better things for the defense. So as you match up those teams, it has a very similar dynamic to the play action football game itself. All right, so it all works together. It's a full cohesive system. It gives you a ton of options, probably too many, but at least you can choose. This is how I want to play this. Or maybe you have one season that you just want to play out all kinds of different ways. You can do that. You can do a whole season replay, full play with all the dice and all the fixins and everything. Or you just want to do one season with the fast action cards, or you want to do one season with the drive-by-drive game. And then you can use the advanced version for maybe the games you want to play out, and you'll use the basic version of that drive-by-drive chart for just games you don't necessarily want to do. There's also a game simulator. So there's actually kind of a score generator that comes with play action football anyway. There's an online version. You could actually do the score generator because we're using these offense and defense numbers. Everything hinges on those numbers. So the entire universe revolves around things that you can create through this player generation chart. So that's what makes it so exciting. You can use actual NFL. You can create your own. You can rate your own historical teams if you want to. Please don't sell those. But if you wanted to do that for yourself, you could try to rate your own historical teams. +3 is the best you can do on offense. -3 is the best you can do on defense. And then you could play those teams out if you want to, using all of the different facets and the different gameplay mechanisms. Again, please just don't resell those or pass those out to people. But if you want to do that for your own personal self, just realize that you're using my proprietary property at that point, even though you're modifying things. Jason did it the right way. He created all this kind of stuff. He created these fast action cards. He created this run heavy version here, and he created it for himself. Even though he put it on YouTube, he's like, look, this is not official or anything. This is just something I do for myself. Before he distributed it, he came to me and he said, hey, I've got this stuff. I'm going to give it to you. If you say, don't put it out there, I'm not going to put it out there. I'll just use it for myself. If you're okay with that, then people are interested in this. They're asking me about it. Can I put it out there? And so that's the proper way to go about dealing with someone else's proprietary property. Obviously, a whole system came out of this. You'll be able to buy a whole package of a game that wasn't 2 weeks ago. It just wasn't. It wasn't available. It wasn't created. So you never know what the developers are going to say. Some people are going to say no. I said yes. I kind of was like, I don't know. Maybe if I get around to it. But then I started to see not only was it getting traction, but it was a really exciting, kind of cool way, especially as I watched Jason play using play action football with the fast action cards, and I was like, okay, like this is something. And I started getting requests because people were watching his channel saying, hey, are you going to create these fast action cards or what? And so I jumped in, and then we've created this entire package, this entire universe. So you never know what the developers are going to do or how it's going to go, but sharing that with them and saying, hey, this is what I'm doing. Are you okay with me sharing that? And if they say no, you just simply keep it for yourself. Okay, so that's when you're working with someone else's proprietary property, that's the way that you can stay out of trouble, because using things and changing things for your own personal self there's no laws against doing that, right? So it's just when you try to disseminate or sell that and make it your own or play it off as part of the officially licensed product, that's when you're going to get into some legal hot water. So just realize that. But if you wanted to do this and have this league, and you create a league with your friends and you just have a draft league to do whatever, I mean, that's super cool. That's what this is for. This is for extending play action football into the fictional universe. It's for extending play action football into, maybe you rate teams differently than I would rate teams. I'm using different statistical formulas that I put together. Maybe you don't like those. Maybe you want to do something different. So you can rate your own teams for the NFL or for the CFL or for whatever it is you want to do. And then you can play those games out. So maybe not for the CFL because there are different rules all around, but the USFL or the football, the European Football League or whatever it is. So this is a fully functional, very robust football game. And we have lots of videos about playing the actual full play game. So you can check those out if you've never looked at them before. This is an FAC driven game, so you don't need dice. You'll need some dice to run this career module, but otherwise playing the game with these cards, once you get them in place, you can play with no dice. That's what the whole game is, the premise is, and you'll get a really fast game. It plays typically about 10 minutes a quarter. If you're not doing the defensive modules, maybe they add just a little bit. The defensive modifiers. And but if you're just playing the game straight up, it plays very quickly because you're only looking at these numbers here, and then you're just sort of adding and subtracting yards as you go along. All right, and then the drive-by-drive game plays in probably 10 or 15 minutes. I mean, if you play in the basic version, maybe 10 minutes. You're just rolling. You do 8 drives per team, and then, you're finished at that point. So you can do that as well. You could extend that out to 12 drives per game. The more drives you have, the more chance of scoring. The fewer drives, the faster the game, but the lower the scoring. So you can adjust that sort of as a timing mechanism for yourself if you want scores to be in a particular place. So that's how that will work as well. Same thing with the fast action cards. All right, if you have any questions or comments, leave them down in the comments section. I'm happy to hear your comments. I'm happy to engage with you about this game. I assure you that it's getting close. I just want to make sure that there are some seasons out there for you to get. So maybe if you have 2 or 3 play action football seasons and there's a season that's out for the Express game, you could just buy the Express game, have a season that you don't already have, go back and just download the files that you do have from the seasons that you already own. And that way you don't feel like, hey, I'm having to double buy a set. So I don't want you to feel like you have to double buy a set. So there's going to be at least one set that nobody has. And so if you own all of my play action football seasons, or you just own the ones that you want to own, you can go and you can purchase this sort of offset that nobody has yet. And then you can play out the season either with that set of cards, or you can just simply have the fast action cards to do that with. I have a particular way I want to package this, and that to me is the most fair. way for those who have already made purchases. If you've never purchased the game, you'll be able to purchase the fast action cards. You can play it out that way, and then if you want to also buy one of the full versions of the game, you can buy that as well. Just realize that when you buy the full game, you're going to have the same small cards. You can also play this with the fast action with the big cards and the players, and just roll a d10 to get the player finder. You can use the d12 that's on the cards. I've shown how to do that. I've done that as well. And so you can make it totally no dice if you want to. Or you can include that d10 and then just play it like you normally would play action football. I don't know that I have time to show every single configuration of this game, but it's a little bit like a Lego set where I'm giving you the building blocks, and you can literally create any type of league, any type of football game that you want. I think all the different ways to play a game are included, including fictional. And so I think you'll have everything you need, and hopefully this becomes a game changer on the market where you have a single system with lots of different ways to play that single system. All right, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed to the channel, you should subscribe. We're up to almost 470 subscribers now. And we are, the advantage of that is that you will get notified of new videos when they come out. So usually I do 1 or 2 a week. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less, usually more, not less. And then unless something is just going on, I'm traveling or something, but you can bank on some new videos each week. Once I finish this and get things out the door and moving with Fast Action or Play Action Football Express, I'm going to turn my attention back to Diamond Dynasty. I'm going to turn my attention back to Precision Baseball and doing the 2025 season for Precision Baseball. And I've contemplated a mid-season Play Action Football set. Let me know in the comments if you'd be for that. So basically what happens is teams are kind of different at different parts of the season. So maybe if you purchase the mid-season set, then when the full season set comes out, you'll just be able to go and download it, quote unquote, for free, but you've already purchased it. You'll just be able to get the final files. But if you wanted a mid-season set where you could play out the season up to this point, then you could do that, and then you can have the final files to play out the rest of the season or to play out the season as a whole. Let me know if you'd be interested in that kind of thing. I've often thought about tabletop gaming on a per week or per month basis, like especially with baseball, because who you are in April is not necessarily who you are in September. And so when we play games and we create seasons, we create them across the entire season. But if you play with the Braves as they finished, they're not the same team as they were in April and May and June, where they couldn't score and they lost their entire pitching staff. And so it's not disingenuous as the best that we could do, but it's not really the best we could do now with PDFs and the ability to distribute very quickly. At least for my games. I mean, maybe other people can't do that because they print cards ahead of time and then they sell you the cards that they've already printed. So for me, PDFs allow me the ability to do stuff like that, where I could create every month, I could release a new section of the MLB season as it goes out. I've thought about that. I don't have the time necessarily to do that right now, although, because then you would start to like fold in players who they got hurt and maybe got young kids coming up, and you know, you start to fold in some really interesting things for that. So if you've listened this far and you would like to leave a comment on whether you'd like to see something like that for Play Action Football, where I release a half season set, we're getting up to about the half season. I guess it's right around now, right? So most teams are starting to take their bye, and the Vikings are 3-4, so that's 7 games. So at 8 games, you're almost the midseason mark. So you're just, we're getting to that place. Do I need to try to do that? It would be really the team cards that I would release, and then the small team cards, because that would just be the easiest way to go. I wouldn't be able to do the full set. The full set would come at the end with the players and all that kind of stuff. So I don't want to do that twice, which may be what happens. But let me know if that's of interest to you. If I don't hear anything back on that, I will hold off until maybe there's a little bit more interest in the future. But I thought that would be kind of a cool way to go as well. All right, so I'll shut up now. I need to go anyway. And this is the team generation and career module. These two pieces of paper will be added, or these two files will be added. There's also a full game guide for this that just kind of walks you through everything. It's pretty self-explanatory, but there might be a couple of things here and there just to let you know. So, all right, I think that's it from here. Hopefully you're excited about this. I'm excited to release it. It's been awesome working with Jason, and so I'm super pumped up about the Play Action Football Express. I know you can't hear my voice, but I am ready for this to be out there for you to be playing it and to get your hands on it. I know a lot of people have been waiting for it. It's coming soon. Just maybe this weekend I can have everything finished. We'll see. All right. That's it from here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.